to the Metro on 1019 WDET. I'm Kerry Jr. II. WDET's Sounds Like Detroit Music Showcase assembled artists bred from across the city whose sound adds to the legacy that is the music of Detroit. And you can't get more homegrown than my next guest. Beth is a singer-songwriter who is a direct descendant of the Motown sound. You can tell the second she lays her silky-sultry vocals on the track. Beth's voice has been a commodity often sought after. She has toured with legendary soul singer KEM as a background vocalist, and her sound landed her on the music competition show, The Voice. Tonight, Beth brings her talents to the Sounds Like Detroit stage. And Beth, welcome to the Metro. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm great, and I'm excited about tonight.
Awesome. As am I. Okay, so now I want to talk about how your national profile expanded. It expanded when you performed on The Voice.
Yeah.
But the key to that show, of course, is that there's no shortcuts to impressing the judges.
No.
You have to be polished. You have to be a polished vocalist, and that you are. So I want to know first how you developed your sound, how you developed your voice to make sure that when you perform on a stage like that in front of some really big faces, you're not going to slip up.
You know what? Honestly, it is just whatever your natural talent is. And I think with the show, you bring whatever it is that you have. And music, your vocals, any type of talent, any type of art that anybody has is subjective. You know, it depends on the person that's listening and what they're listening for. So thankfully, what I brought was what they were listening for. The process to get on The Voice is very long, very tedious. It is not just you standing in line and, you know, you get a chance to go audition in front of the coaches. It is probably a little less, maybe about 8 months of auditioning and preparation before you actually even get to the show. And people don't really know that. You know, I did your first initial contact with The Voice is either you do go for the cattle call. I don't know if they even still do that, but I call it a cattle call audition. You know, you go and just the open call. Mm-hmm. Second, you can be invited to the show.
Okay.
And I was actually invited twice. Wow. So the first time they invited me, I actually turned it down. I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. But the second time was right after I had released my first album.
Okay.
In 2017. And as an independent artist with really little to no funds and your audience is very small, I said, you know, let me do something different to try to expand my territory, expand my audience. So when they thankfully called back again,
you were ready.
Yeah, because the show is actually cast. And I don't know if people know that, but since it's been years I've been on, I'm going to spill the tea. So it's actually a show that is casted, but there is organic people that get on the show that do the audition. So thankfully they called me back a second time. And also, thankfully, I made it to the show because you can be called, go through the audition process and still not make it to the show.
Now, you mentioned, too, during this process that there is a lot of waiting, a lot of practicing.
Yeah.
And I imagine trying to make sure your voice is ready for the moment is a difficult task.
Yeah.
But I do think that in your upbringing, in your training, in developing your voice, that's a big help. If you haven't been trained, you're not going to be ready for the moment when it comes.
Yeah, but some people actually naturally have the talent to go on the show. Before I put out my first album, I had toured 5 years with Anita Baker. I had been her background singer. I had done that. I had done numerous studio sessions and jingles and commercials around the city of Detroit. Mm-hmm. So I was an experienced singer, but I was not an experienced solo artist.
I see.
So there's a difference, you know. And so I think one of the things that developed me to where I am now is the many years of background singing, then doing the voice, because that was an additional training that I learned. You have amazing coaches, you have amazing teachers, performance coaches, all of those things that you need to be successful. They set you up with that for the show. And then I was able to take that and then transition to working my album, which I absolutely love. I still love that first album. In fact, they're going to hear some songs from that tonight. And then I transitioned to working with KEM. And so I've been with him probably over 10 years now. doing background. And then even now, all last year, 2024, I opened KEM shows. So, I would open his shows and then go change my clothes and go do his background. So I've been really, really blessed to be able to be a background singer. I've been able to be a studio singer. I've been able to be what I'm doing now, which I absolutely love, is being a lead singer and being my own artist.
Now, we've been talking about your voice. We've been talking about your sound. I do want to give people just a small snippet or taste of one of your songs here.
Okay.
It's called I Got Next.
I love that.
I got this phone from my dad. Baby, I'ma stand up on it. Ain't nothing gonna make me move. A legacy left for me. Baby, I'ma walk up on it. 'Cause I know what I gotta do. They may be on right now, but somehow, trust me, I got next.
That's perfect. I really wanted to get to that hook because I really like the hook.
Thank you.
I'm talking over the synths too, but it's okay. It's a good group. It's really funky.
You. I love that song, and it actually features Swifty McVeigh from D12.
From D12.
Yeah, that's my brother. That's my friend. I love him and love working with him. In fact, I was just a couple months ago in the studio with D12, and I'll be on their upcoming project. I don't know when it's coming out, but I love working with them. So yeah.
Okay, so in that song, really funky, and in it, you come out really clear in the middle. It's a nod to your father.
Absolutely. Funk brother Johnny Griffith. My dad was one of the funk brothers of Motown. I love Motown. I love the Motown Museum. I still work with them. I was just there this weekend for Bass Day. Shout out to Kern Brantley. Love them. There's a family, and I'm proud of the legacy that my father left for me. There was a lot about him and Motown that I didn't know, because by the time I was born, Motown had left and gone to California. But it's inherited and it's in me, and I'm an artist because of what's already in me that I didn't even know was there. So yeah.
Yeah, it was in you already. And,
Yeah.
the fact that he invented the Motown sound is another thing. I mean, it's clearly, like I said, in the sound that you make with your vocals and everything.
Thank you.
Did you ever, I wonder, because your father was a part of essentially inventing a sound,
Yeah.
did you ever think about a different career path? Or were you like, no, this is clearly in my blood. This is where I need to be?
Okay, so as a little girl, I grew up and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer, because I really love the debating part of being an attorney, and then I was like, okay, I'll go into corporate law. No, I'll go into music law. And then it was like, no, I want to be a doctor. I want to be an anesthesiologist. And then I saw Whitney Houston.
Oh, wow.
And everything else was like, no, I'm going to be a singer, and that is it.
Because on the set of Sparkle, is that right?
No, yes, I worked with Whitney on the set of Sparkle, but as a little girl, seeing that first album and her standing on that beach in that swimming suit, and I was able to identify with her look and her sound. That's what I wanted to do and be. So in the back of my mind, I wanted to be a singer. My voice wasn't developed yet, but that's what I wanted to do. And, let the stars, the stars aligned for me to be her stand-in and body double for Sparkle when they filmed it in Detroit. Whitney Houston and I just celebrated, her heavenly birthday, but we both have the same birthday, which is August the 9th. And
Happy birthday to you and her.
Thank you. So, she's my favorite singer of all times. I have other singers that I love, but Whitney is the one that really influenced me and shaped the way that I wanted to move as a little girl and move into the music.
I mean, I think one thing about artists nowadays, and this is purely as a listener, so correct me if I'm wrong from the outside in, but I don't know that everyone works on their vocal talent as much. Like, Whitney is one of the gold standard vocalists.
Yeah.
And for you to have her as a North Star is a testament to the work that you put in to make sure that you sound good. I mean, I know The Voice is just a TV show on NBC. It could be casted, sure. But the idea of that, I mean, I imagine the pressure is high. You've been seasoned. You know that you are trying to ascend to a level that is one that pays attention, I guess, to that element of the song. Because music is a lot of different elements. And to be vocally talented is another one. So.
Well, thank you. Whitney she's an angel to me. She is a North Star to me, as you put it. I like that term. I've had some great teachers, Curtis Boone was my vocal teacher. Shirley Smith is my current vocal teacher. I have great producer, Marcus Devine, who is my MD. You'll see him tonight as well. He vocal coaches me as well. So I have great people that are on me that demand excellence from me, and they push me, and they don't allow me to slack. And if I do something wrong, they correct me. But that's a conversation we had. If I do something wrong, correct me, because my intention is to be great.
You're listening to The Metro on 101.9 WDET. My guest is the versatile singer and songwriter Beth. We're discussing her career journey. And tonight at 7 p.m., you can see her along with other artists that were selected to perform at Batch Brewing Company for the Sounds Like Detroit showcase. So we've been talking about The Voice. I want to kind of get into that experience a little bit more.
Okay.
You were on season 16 of the
Yes.
show. And you, in your performance, were able to get John Legend and Kelly Clarkson to turn their chairs. And you performed Until You Came Back to Me by the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
You've already described the process, that process, but do you also pick your own songs, or do they give the songs to you? How do you determine that?
Well, your songs are selected to you, especially for the blind audition. And I knew the stars had aligned because they picked an Aretha Franklin song. Aretha Franklin worked with my late father, and my father was her first touring keyboard player. So when I saw that they had selected that song for me, I just screamed. I remember we were on the airplane, and I got the email, and I screamed, and my husband was like, "Why are you screaming on the airplane?" I was like, "Oh my God, they gave me an Aretha Franklin song, to do." And, I felt that, that was divine for that to happen. They pick your songs up until a certain point of the show, and then there's a collaboration that you're able to do with the producers to find songs that best suit your voice.
I see. Now, I assumed you picked it because I was like, oh, this is perfect. Motown,
But I
Aretha
did
Franklin.
not.
But you did not.
No.
And it's not easy to sing an Aretha Franklin song.
No, that woman
Yep.
could sing, and I think everybody wants to, feel like you're doing an Aretha something with your voice, but she was just so good and such a strong singer. And I was honored to sing her song, to pay homage to her, to pay homage to my city, to pay homage to my father, and to push myself on a national platform where people were able to see me do what I love to do so much, which is sing.
I can sing an Aretha Franklin song too, but it has to be literally my best vocal day.
And in the shower.
There you go.
Okay.
You already knew where I was going
I
with
already
that.
know. In the shower.
I need all the
Yeah.
assistance I can get.
Yeah, the acoustics in the shower are bar none. Listen.
You should just record it and release it.
Yeah, you at the
this
Fox
point.
Theater when you in the shower.
Right? Exactly. So in the aftermath of your performance, they both turned around, but you chose Kelly Clarkson.
I did.
Why Kelly over my guy John? And John is a classic.
John is a classic. So, you're on that show, you're playing chess, not checkers, right? So if you got two that want you, you need to have that ram in the bush. And John was my ram in the bush.
Okay.
I wanted to experience both of them, though. John Legend is that EGOT winner, everything that I think an artist strives to be or to get to. And Kelly Clarkson had the show competition experience, right? So I wanted... I wanted something from both of them, and I got something from both of them.
That was a very smart choice.
I got something, and if people ask me that question, I'll say, "Why didn't you pick John?" I'm like, it wasn't about that I didn't like John. John really wanted me, and I'm like, if you really want me now, you'll really want me later, and that show can go any kind of way. So I was able to learn things from Kelly and have some conversations with her that I still use. In terms of technique and things that I do. And there are things that John talked to me about, which I still use. It was really, really a great experience for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Kelly, her voice as well, powerhouse.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't want it to seem like you shouldn't have chose Kelly.
Right.
I fully understand that. Can you talk a little bit more about what you learned from her? You said technique, but I imagine the coaching isn't what we assume it is as viewers. But can you just talk about what that experience is? How did the process work? You sing a song or you send a song and she kind of gives feedback? How does that?
So what happens with music and as an artist, I really believe that there is a percentage of talent that you need to have as an artist, but there is a huge percentage that is your mental place, where you are, and are you able to deliver? Are you able to tell the story? Are you able to present it properly? And there was a lot of coaching that I received from them, which combined my technique of singing, my delivery, and my headspace, and to be fully aware that at all times you're telling a story. There are people sitting in the audience that are watching you, that are there to get something from you. You're giving something. And you have to know that when you give your gift, you give it not to receive something back, but you give it as, you give it as a gift. Just like Christmas, I give you a gift and I want something I want you to have. Mm-hmm. You have to remember that you're giving from your heart, you're giving from your soul as an artist, and you're telling a story. So a lot of times singers will stand there and they'll sing, but they're in their head and they're singing this song for them. And on that show, I definitely learned that when I sing, I'm singing for the people. I'm not singing for myself. I sing because I love to, and the ability is because I love to. But every time I open my mouth, I'm giving. And I have to know that with my whole heart, and I want the people to feel that I'm giving them. I'm giving them a part of Beth, So that was one of the things that Kelly talked to me about. But John came in when I was stolen and was on his team to remember that you're telling a story and you're giving. You should feel like you have given all that you have when you walk off the stage. So those techniques, those tidbits, those little golden nuggets they gave me, I take with me forever. I use them. I hear their voices in my head when I get ready to perform, because it was so important. It was so convicting what they told me, that I was listening and looking at them as they're where I want to be. Mm-hmm. I would like for them to be my peers. So I need to listen to them in what they are giving me, what they're telling me of how they got where they are.
Wow. That's sort of an unconventional take, the idea that an artist is performing for the crowd. I guess when I think of artists, creatives, and musicians, they're making the work, I think, mm-hmm. for themselves as maybe like a release mechanism. And this is obviously not everyone. And it can be.
Yeah.
In some senses. But I wonder then, when it comes to your own music, your album's Free, Get to Know Me.
Yes.
You're making album work for yourself, but you're performing it for other people.
Yeah.
In the creation of that work, understanding that this is going to go out for other folks, what goes through your mind when you think of the types of songs you're trying to write and the types of stories you're trying to tell?
Well, I think when we're writing music and we're listening to music to write to, yes, I have to like it sometimes, but I have to trust my producers, my writers, that they also know me and they know what would be good for me to put out for people. And then you also have to know the climate of your audience. And then you have to know what your audience wants, desires, what they may need, what's missing. So it's all of those things rolled up in one big ball. So you are performing for the people. And you want the people to come to your show. Like, we need everybody listening tonight to come to Batch Brewery, right? Okay. So, because I'm coming to perform for you. I'm not getting up there because I'm like, I feel like performing tonight. Like, no, I've been invited to do something. So I have something to give to the people. So that is the mindset that you have to have. And you have to have that mindset when you're picking your songs and you're writing. Am I writing a song to tell stories that people can relate to? Am I writing a song that people will be able to vibe to? It's all of those things. And so there's several different pieces of that pie,
that goes into your work.
Absolutely.
How do you measure success in your work?
Well, so part of it is when people tell you they like it, that's a huge compliment when people tell you they like your music, that they're listening to your music. When are you coming out with new music? That means they're interested in what you have to give. And then also the success to me is starting a project and completing it. A lot of times we start and we don't finish because of life. Life happens and you don't finish. So for me to have started and completed and funded 2 full albums, then that's success to me.
I like to hear that because, like you said before, you put so much time and effort into putting this work together, and then that folks are clamoring for more. Like, it's almost like part of it is that artistic expression and you're getting the feedback.
Yeah, and I appreciate that so much. I mean, I have a wonderful manager. Shout out to Courtney Benjamin. Like I said, my music director, Marcus Devine. The band that's there tonight, they are exceptional. They're a band that plays for national artists. My band plays for Ashanti. They play for Genuine. They play for Kelly Price. They're touring all over. I'm happy they're available to even be here with me tonight, There's so much that goes into this. And again, it's just a gift for the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Beth, I want to thank you for joining me this morning on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let folks know that, they can catch you in your performance tonight at Batch Brewing. Beth is a singer-songwriter, producer, and actor. She'll be performing tonight, as I said, for the Sounds Like Detroit showcase at Batch Brewing Works. You can get your tickets at wdet.org. We'll be right back on the Metro. Stay right there.